bitch.
So it's come to this, issue number 6. Sonic is fighting Shadow. Shadow is trying to defeat Eggman. Let's get into it because, oh my, I just read through this and I'm surprised that this got this far into development. I really am. Well, let's get to it. Now, I'm going to be focusing more on the storyline of this because this has created more plot holes than I thought would be possible. So, yeah, let's get to where things start going wrong, which is within the first few minutes. Now, in the last issue, you might remember that Mr. Tinker, or Eggman, decided to give a rather sneaky-sounding Eggman Land hint, which gave you the impression that he was Eggman. And it's especially weird, and then we'll get to that part later, but for some reason Sonic doesn't want to go along with destroying this Eggman, so he stops Shadow. And in the previous issue he said, that's clearly Eggman, he's up to something, he must have slipped. So why is he telling Shadow, oh no, don't attack Eggman? I don't get that. And he continues going on about that throughout the entire issue for some reason. I'm not really sure why he's doing that. I'm guessing that, and it does explain this, but I don't feel like that's a good enough explanation, really. It's not. And of course, the whole thing gets to the point where Shadow decides he's going to try and kill Eggman. Now, in the same issue, he does use Chaos Control, bringing in a giant plot hole, which is why he used Chaos Control before. You know, it's kind of like what the Nostalgia Critic said about the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, where he says,
first of all, Tails can fly! Why doesn't he just pick up Sonic and lift him off the ground?
And it's the same thing here. Shadow can teleport, why doesn't he just teleport through Sonic to get to Eggman? He uses it several times, pretty liberally in the comic too, so that in and of itself kind of raises a couple of questions, although maybe he just got tired and decided to play dirty, I don't know. That's my best explanation I can give. During this time, however, the Chaotix are blaming Rouge for bringing Shadow here, although why they're complaining is, again, that's another thing that I'm kind of stumped on. If Eggman is supposed to be their biggest enemy, why is it that they aren't willing to let people stop him if he is a spy? And yeah, the Chaotix might not have heard Eggman going on about Eggman Land, but eventually they did, so it's kind of like, or even then, Rouge should have explained that to them, that Eggman still is on the loose. And we'll get into more of this later. Oh yes. But yeah, why is it that the Chaotix want to stop Rouge from helping them? Because both were in the Resistance, both wanted to stop Eggman, I don't get it. And then this joke happens, I don't really know what that is, but maybe it's something that I just don't understand. And maybe, you know, that's just my thing, perhaps. I don't know. Although I guess Charmy agrees with me. And it goes back to Sonic trying to discuss with Shadow that Eggman is now a good guy. Talking about how Eggman has done plenty of good things before. And yeah, he makes a good point, but again, if he's heard Eggman go on about Eggman Land, why is he doing this? Again, we don't know. And he even points out Shadow's hypocrisy, but again, it seems like it would make more sense if he knew that Eggman was putting on an act to tell Shadow to put on an act as well, just to make sure that Eggman doesn't figure out that they're trying to keep an eye on him. That makes more sense to me, but whatever. Whatever. And of course, the plot hole that I mentioned earlier about Sonic knowing that Eggman would probably have his memories back pretty soon ensues, so making the whole thing utterly pointless. Why did he have to keep Shadow from doing that? Why not just tell him that, yeah, maybe Eggman is up to something? I don't know. Again, I'm sorry if I'm going on about this. But hey, now we get to the creme de la creme of this video. And that's the reveal. And the big reveal of the chair guy is that it's Eggman.
Who the fuck was that?
Alright, here's the first problem I have with this. Number one is all the hype that was built around this new character, because last time I checked in that stupid Game Informer interview you did a couple months back, you know, like back in March, we were promised a new villain. Where is this new villain? Why is it that you decided to cop out and just make it Eggman? And you had over a year to get this stuff done, but then you forgot about it, and then you just sort of brought it back. In fact, it seems like in the beginning of this issue, you kind of did that as well. It's dumb. Very dumb.
Dumb like a moose did. Dumb like a moose.
The second problem I have is, why the hell is it that the Phantom Ruby is here? Wasn't it destroyed at the end of Forces? And before you say, oh well, you didn't play Forces, I had to look through a fucking walkthrough just to get an idea of what the fuck was going on in this comic, because Ian has a problem where he doesn't like to explain things properly, so I had to go through an entire walkthrough just to figure this out, because I didn't play Forces because I decided to put fucking Denuvo into the fucking thing. So yeah, you can tell me, oh well, you didn't play Forces, but I had to get a good understanding of it before I, made these reviews. Yeah, maybe it's not the best idea, but still, it is a plot hole, and yes, it is a very easy plot hole to spot just by looking up the ending. And yes, people do end up looking up the endings for these kinds of things. If someone looks up the ending of Forces, they're gonna realize, wait, wasn't the Phantom Ruby destroyed? After they've read the comic. Again, it's a very big plot point. And no, I don't care if Ian Flynn says, oh, well, this isn't canon to the main storyline. Iizuka says it's canon, so I'm gonna consider it canon. But then again, you'll probably make the argument that, oh, well, there's the Two Worlds thing, which got brought in for no reason, so I guess you have a fair fucking point. Why should I give a shit about the continuity of this thing when the people currently running it don't care about the continuity that they tried to build themselves? So it makes absolutely no sense why there's an Eggman illusion. And it makes even less sense when you realize that a couple of the scenes in the previous comic books made it seem like Eggman was in the same town as Mr. Tinker. Furthermore, at the end of the 5th comic, Mr. Tinker again talks about Eggman Land. If it's supposed to be an illusion, why the hell is it mentioning Eggman Land? And that face and the way he says it sounds like something that's coming from a guy who has a plan he wants to take out. And people will bring up that the Phantom Ruby cubes appeared around the knocked out Eggman, and yes, that is a good point, but again, it feels like he just kind of forgot that plot point existed in the comic and then realized, oh shit, this plot point's in this comic, what do I do? And just kind of put it in there. And yeah, people are coming up with theories for this, which is nice and it is kind of fun, but I don't really think that any of those theories will hold any weight because we've already seen the effects of the Phantom Ruby, and I highly doubt it will be Metal Sonic, because, well, we've seen the Phantom Ruby's effects, but we know it's been destroyed. And yeah, he said in the Game of Order article that, oh, well, it's going to be a surprise that longer fans are going to piece together, but new fans are going to be surprised by. But the thing is, though, is that at this point, the twist doesn't even make any sense in making it Metal Sonic, because the twist is set up so that way it's Eggman now. Even though the twist beforehand was set up so that way it would be a new villain altogether. And yeah, he was saying that it was going to be a new villain, but we didn't get that either, so why should I care when the writing staff doesn't even care? I mean, they're more interested in complaining about conservatives, cops, and all those evil, homophobic Nazis. Yeah, newsflash, Nazis died out 80 years ago. I mean, even said that two people pieced it together. I'm assuming one of those people is Alex Hedgefox, but I don't fucking know. I mean, it's a very weak twist, and he admitted, yes, it was Eggman all along, so this whole Metal Sonic theory coming up is just kinda stupid. Kinda really stupid when you actually sit down and think about it. Since not even the writer seems to agree with it. I'm honestly just kind of shocked that people are actually pushing this new theory around, and yet there's no evidence to support it, and the writer doesn't even support it. So, at this point, the only thing that this book had going for it, it's gone. It's freaking gone. I kind of wanted to say to see where the chair guy would go, but that's been... oh man, has that been destroyed. Congratulations, the one reason I had to keep reading, gone. Wasted. Thrown into the trash. And it's all because the entire staff was too busy complaining about those evil white Nazis. Because the art in this issue is also pretty lazy. I mean, what else do you expect from Tracy Yardley? The guy who cuts corners all the bloody time. And another editorial staff that is incredibly incompetent, although at this point this is standard for comic books. So yeah, screw this entire comic book series for wasting my fucking time with this fucking book. Screw it. I don't even care anymore. And apparently the majority of fans also don't seem to care, since now the sales are at 12,000. Fantastic. You guys have really outdone yourselves this time. Especially you, Tracy. You're the greatest PR man ever. Ah, screw it. I'm gonna go play Sonic Adventure or some shit.
That was anticlimactic.
Oh my gosh! A floating shopping list!
Enjoy!